All right. A lot of people stuck at home right now, trying to figure out what to do in their spare time. Probably the first time a lot of people are asking these questions. What do I do? Whether you're a parent, whether you're a student, high school student, college student, you suddenly got all this spare time that used to be spent inside the walls of classroom. I want to put you on the spot. You're stuck in college right now. Classes are canceled. And you want to actually make the most of your time, not just like waste away and be an idiot. Like, where do you start? What do you do? Like, walk me through that process if that's you right now.
Yeah, I think if you're going to make a genuine attempt of like being productive, taking control of your own education, right now, I think a very simple place to start is figure out how to build your own website, get a reading list of books, articles, etc. on a specific topic, and challenge yourself to read, consume content for an hour a day, and write one blog post a day, and do that for 1 week.
I think that's a good start. I got another question here. So this is when I was wrestling with this. I was thinking about all these schools closing, and I'm like seeing all this content online, people tweeting like frat parties on beaches and people just like being absolutely ridiculous, particularly like college students. What's the point? What's the point of like using my time learning if I'm not in class versus just like wasting it away, waiting for school to start again so I can go get my grades and ultimately go finish my degree?
Okay. All right. Now
put you right on the spot.
Now you have my attention. So I think that is the question students should be asking themselves right now. Like, what is the purpose of education, and however you want to kind of define it? If you're in college and the primary reason you're there is because you feel like, okay, I have to go jump through these very expensive and time-consuming hoops in order to achieve a degree that unlocks certain job opportunities. When you receive that degree, you're going to be in for a rude awakening of, oh, well, like no matter what, you're not going to be prepared for the job market. You're not going to be as prepared as you can be with what types of opportunities do I want to pursue? What does it take for me to be ready for those? And also like the job hunting process itself. So if you're in the position where college classes are canceled right now, and you kind of have two decisions, you can either waste time, play a bunch of video games inside, like we saw last week or so of people were still on spring break before things got locked down. Or you can say like, okay, like what can I actually do to better myself? The case for pursuing a self-directed learning is that and let's say specifically within the framework of like being career ready.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go through that process eventually whenever you're out of school. So you might as well get started now. Now, the tricky thing is if you're in school, you probably haven't received a lot of guidance on how to get started.
Well, yeah, how to do anything beyond just like follow the assignments that are given to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. I think, I'd like your thoughts on that, but if I was truly starting from scratch and I was at the point, it's like, okay, like I'm getting started with my career
with what you know now versus, years ago.
If I'm starting from scratch and I don't know where, like how to approach this, be like, what types of jobs would I be like, how do I even find jobs that are interesting to me? how do I know
Yep.
what jobs I'm a good fit for? Like, I don't know any of that. Like, I have some very uneducated assumptions, probably. I think what I would recommend to somebody is like, hey, go write down 5 companies that are cool to you, and
Yep.
then go to their careers page and study all of their job openings and just get an initial feel for like the types of jobs that are done at that specific company.
Yeah.
And
I
then
bet
you know,
sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. Go ahead. You
let
finish.
that lead to going down a rabbit hole on some different jobs. And
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, even if you don't know like what skills you have that are valuable, I was just thinking that now is probably a rare time for a student to gain some leverage with their lack of skills and the current situation going on for companies that are hiring and have like tons of job openings. They just need support because of an increased demand. So like companies that have online stuff, online products like Zoom or whatever it is, like these different industries that I imagine are suddenly noticing an unprecedented increase in business volume or interest because people are stuck at home. Like I imagine as a student, businesses love to like wave this virtue card of like we hire students, we have internship programs, all this blah blah blah. Like even if you don't know how to be valuable, I would imagine there's probably a rare opportunity for a student to be like, hey, my class just got canceled for the rest of the semester. I didn't really know what to do, whether I had an internship lined up or not. Like I'm trying to figure out how to make the most of the use of my time. I noticed that you had some openings. I'm really interested in what your company's doing. And I want something valuable right now instead of just like being stuck in a college ghost town. Like, even if you don't know how to be valuable, I think that's probably, we're in like a rare window of opportunity that kind of pitch probably works better than it ever has.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think the underlying premise is a really strong one. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we view like formal education as something that is clearly worth spending money, significant time on, and because we know or we think that leads eventually to job outcomes.
Yeah.
But when we tell young people like, hey, it actually could be a really cool opportunity if you pitch this small business or company or like individual entrepreneur on working for them for free
Yeah.
so that you can learn and gain skills that way. Like people usually have a pretty negative reaction to that. But I think now more than ever, it should be clear like, oh, like that's actually much more relevant and valuable if you set it up right compared to
Oh, yeah.
stuck in a classroom.
Yeah. So here's the other thing I was wrestling with as I was thinking about this. I was trying to put myself back in my college shoes, heaven forbid. And I was just thinking about like, if I'm 21-year-old me and I'm in my senior year of college, classes are canceled indefinitely. And all of the social benefits of college are now out of reach or they're canceled. No parties, no clubs, no student organizations, you know, no job at Chili's, waiting table, like none of the stuff that was like relevant at that point in time in my life. If all that's gone and college opens back up next semester, do I go back?
Yeah.
Like assuming none of those benefits are still like we're doing
Like,
college online from now on. That's all we're doing. We're doing college online, and the best case scenario benefit that you're getting out of this is a degree, and maybe you learn some stuff completing this online education, but you're still following college curriculum. Like, do I go back and go through that? 21-year-old me, not knowing all the stuff I know now. I think that I'm still trying to figure out what the point is.
yeah, I mean, I fully expect everything to go back to normal. Like
Yeah.
have the same college experience available, but I think just having this time right now that question is going to be stuck in a good number of students' head for sure.
Yeah. So let's look beyond the big burning question that's been really popular lately with student debt. Like, is college worth it? Let's just put that to the side for a second.
Yeah.
What I'm more interested in right now is like, does college break down without the social experience? Like, without all the intangible benefits of college, I don't think people claim that those are the reasons they go. Whether, some people do, but I don't
many
think
arguments are based off of.
I think so too. Like, it's great for socialization or whatever, but I think that, like, most people polled, they use some type of like, I'm going to get a better job, higher earnings. They use this like rationalization of other reasons, when the real reasons is like, hey, I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be different than everybody. I don't want to miss out on, all these social intangibles. But like, if you're giving your parents a sales pitch and they're paying for college, like, that's not why they're paying for college. If that's what you're telling them, is like, yeah, I want to go party for 4 years and make a bunch of friends. Like,
Well, there's
you want the outcomes.
if you take all those bells and whistles away, and it's literally just, all right, college is now a class that a series of classes that you attend for the sake of learning specific subject matter. There's already better direct competitors to that with,
Yeah.
online courses that are cheaper. You have more, you have more accessibility to more subjects and topics and different courses you can take. Seriously, like, why would you, if you're comparing those and you're saying, all right, I'm taking the social experience away.
Yeah.
All you're left with is on like class and then degree status that you eventually achieve with, and you keep all the costs and time. Like, why would you not at least pursue, like, all right, I'm just going to be on Coursera or Udemy and I'm going to design my own coursework for the next, for this semester or something like that.
I wonder, here's what I'm also thinking, like, in this hypothetical universe where no social benefits of college, that's how it is going forward. It's just online classes. How do you differentiate yourself? Like, there's now a competition for the first spot. Like, you're the number one in every major program. Like, if you're not a 4.0 student and in a particular major, like, you're average. And that, I think that competes against you because you don't have all these other things you can pad your resume, these artificial signals. What I'm also thinking is like, do all these unnecessary degree programs even exist anymore? Do colleges even carry them? Because, like, if we're boiling it down to the barest sense, like, are students actually enrolling in, I don't know, in basket weaving or whatever the unnecessary major programs are?
Yeah, your stereotypical liberal arts majors and stuff.
We used to call them MRS degrees.
What does that stand for?
Like, people that are going to college to pursue a degree just so they can meet their future spouse.
Oh.
MRS degrees. But like, it's like, I knew guys that did that. Like, I came to college because I'm going to go back home and work on the farm. This is my 4-year opportunity to be off the farm and meet somebody. Like,
yeah.
That it was kind of a laughing, kind of a known public joke. And I'm just wondering, like, outside of college, like, I think people have to learn how to do so many things in the real world now, if college is just this online thing without the social experience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And then, okay, so let's take it a step further. Let's say you're convinced that, like, hey, actually college isn't for me. Without the social offerings,
Yeah.
I kind of realize, like, it's just not worth it. Like, what do you do then? Like, how do you? What are alternatives to, seeking out the social experience, seeking out, valuable skill building, professional experience, etc. And I promise you, this was not supposed to be a setup question to talk about Praxis. Like, let's say Praxis does not exist. Like, what do you do in that situation?
Well, I was just thinking about the backdrop settings. Back to, I'm 21 and this is all the case. This is the case.
Yeah.
I think that I'm on a shorter leash with my parents or anybody that has financially given me any kind of support. And like that dries up. And now there's this sense of urgency that you have to go figure it out on your own. You don't have this like 4-year window to screw off, whether you're actually learning or not. You don't have this 4-year window of forgiveness to like not be, not be self, independent financially. Like
To not be a stupid college kid.
Yeah. Like if you want to go wait tables, that's fine, but you need to be making enough money to pay your rent and your phone bill and, whatever the case. Like, I think that is an overlooked element of college, is that there's kind of this window of forgiveness for a lot of people, not everybody, like people who are paying for student loans, or they're truly working 3 jobs to pay for college. They probably have a better sense and probably more responsible than I was at that age. But I'm just thinking that pressure in the background is creating this incentive structure where it's like, not only do I got to, get my shit together and figure this out, but also like, I think the same social stigma of, I don't want to be the kind of person that's working, at McDonald's or Starbucks. I want to figure out what I can do that's an impressive sounding career, something that I'm proud to tell people I'm doing, but also is like something that makes me feel proud and fulfilled. And that's not to talk, crap on anybody that works at Starbucks or McDonald's, but like, if you're the type of person that goes to college, chances are, I'm guessing you also, have some type of bigger career aspirations. And for me, I think that urgency is kind of like a come to Jesus moment. I don't know where I'm starting, but I'm probably going door to door to every business to find a job immediately to cover, my expenses today. And then also, like, while I'm making some money, trying to come up with a plan as quickly as possible to find a better job or something that I, see longer term.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Like, all right, if you're in that position, there's so much you don't know about, okay, like what kind of career paths do I want to pursue? Most likely.
Yeah.
Like I definitely didn't know back then. So I would like go get the day job so that you have some stable income. You can start to be moving towards financial independency. And in an ideal situation, that gives you free time to kind of pursue longer term interests, start to like dive into the career landscape, see what like those next stepping stones can be, and discover them. But I think most people see that as like, I'm never, if I don't have like, college is supposed to help you do that, like find a career path. I think that's the expectation.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Right. That's the expectation.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot of people would kind of like panic and be stressed out, like, okay, like how the heck am I going to do this on my own?
Yeah.
So that, like, all right, that would be
that'd be a
cool,
terrifying thing, but
right,
it also kind of exciting.
Yeah. And the other option is maybe you're going to give yourself a year, like, all right, I'm going to work at Chili's. I'm going to work at Starbucks.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just want to hang out with my friends and, mess around, maybe travel if I can do that, if I can save enough money and not worry about long-term stuff right now. Like, I think that's totally acceptable.
You have no obligations.
Right. And you're actually more free to pursue those types of things that, I think most people would look at as like, oh, well, that's actually really irresponsible and stuff, if you're not also committing yourself to all the student debt and the time spent in college.
I think everybody gets a free pass right now. If you're a college student, your classes are canceled indefinitely. You're looking at like this uncertain economy right now. and you're like, hey, I'm not going to go back to college. I'm just going to get a holdover job, whatever it is. And like, I'm going to live my life for a little bit, while I figure it out, for a year or two. I think you've got some pity and like a grace period where people are like, man, you're in a tough spot. Like with the economy tanking, going back to college, especially if you're taking out loans, like people give you probably an unusual grace period given the, you know, everybody's hysteria right now. But beyond that, here's the thing that excites me about this hypothetical world is you can't use your major as a crutch anymore. And also there's this, you can no longer delay reality. I was thinking about my own college experience. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. They were asking me about like, did I go to college? What did I want to be? All this kind of stuff. And I was just thinking, it was like, there was so much security being able to hide behind, when I started college, it was like, I'm going to go to medical school someday. This is this thing way out in the future, like, 4+ years down the road. There was security in being able to say that, at this indefinite point in the future, I'm going to go do this thing. And then like a few years later, it was like, I'm going to go to law school. It's the next best thing. People aren't going to give me grief about doing that and prolonging my, whatever.
The other thing about that is like, you get all the praise of like, oh, wow, Mitchell's planning on going to medical school, or, oh, wow, Mitchell's planning on going to law school without any of the repercussions or without having to do like legitimate work to pursue that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to delayed reality, whether that's actually what you're working toward or not. Like you saying that is kind of this trump card to everybody's expectations of you, that just you can literally buy time and waste time. And I think that I did that. And I think in this hypothetical universe, it's exciting. I don't want to discount that it's probably stress. It would stress people out. I don't want to discount that. Like it would stress me out if that were me 10 years ago or whatever. But I'm also thinking that it's an exciting opportunity where there's freedom that people have never experienced to be forced to figure that out. But also like there's limitless possibilities now.
In this like ideal hypothetical, people are forced to actually own their decisions and like what they're doing with their life, what they're doing with their time. I think what we're getting, like college for 4 to 6 years, regardless, like even with how much people pay for it, you get to hide behind this broad term college. Like you don't have to know, like if you're at a gathering with family friends and they're like, what are you doing? Well, I'm in college right now. They're like, oh, good. Like having fun, blah, blah, blah. If let's say you're 20 years old, if you're that same 20-year-old and people ask you like, oh, how's college? Like, actually, I'm not in college. Like I'm just working a customer service job. I'm, working at Starbucks. They're going to be like, what? Like,
what's wrong with this?
They're going to judge you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that person could be working their tail off, whereas college student could just be literally not showing up to class, literally just partying all the time, not being productive in any sense of the word.
I think it puts the burden of proof on you to justify, that what you're doing is actually useful. And I don't think that most people get to a point in their life where they reach that until they're, people that don't go to college, they probably reach this sooner. But the people who go through college and they don't have a definite career path that they stick to, they get out of college and it's like, I still don't know what I want to do. Well, now for the first time in your life, I've seen this with so many people that are a few years out of college. They haven't figured out their stuff. Like there's a ticking time bomb where people become more impatient. And it's so crazy to me that people don't start holding people under scrutiny today until they're like out of college. Like what if in this hypothetical, again, keeping this theme going, like in this hypothetical, what if that, like I see that window arriving a lot sooner where it's like, you got to figure out what to do now. If you're not going to go to college, you got to figure it out now. What are you going to do instead?
Yeah. And I love the idea. Like, I would love people to step up and like, hey, like I plan to just mess around this entire next year and actually own that decision.
Yeah.
Like, I plan to travel around for 6 months or like travel internationally for 6 months or whatever. Like, it's actually less important, especially at younger ages, like what you specifically do, but how much you're willing to like stand by your decisions and take ownership for your own life.
Well, yeah, it's just because it's rare. Like it's rare that people are put in a position where they have to justify their decisions until they're older and their window has closed. You're out of college or whatever. But also, like, it's rare that people opt out and take ownership of it. Like, yeah, I'm excited about this. I think that we, because of what we do in Praxis, like we get the good fortune of like meeting a lot of these people and working with them. And so it's probably more common for us than the average person out in the world to meet a young person who's like proud that they made that decision. I know so many people that whether they dropped out of college or they didn't go or it just wasn't right for them or didn't make financial sense, there was still kind of this like cloud, like a little bit of like shame, not always, but sometimes. And I think that that's crazy that people feel that way. And that excites me in this hypothetical universe, whatever. It excites me that like maybe that stigma disappears. So.
Yep, absolutely. It'll be interesting times.
Yep, we could go on and on for this today. It's probably enough for now. Maybe we'll continue this in a later podcast, but good trip. A lot of cool things to think about.